Hi everyone, I'm Amy. I've just finished my second year studying physics here at the University of Bath, and today I'm going to go through some of my best tips and tricks to make the transition from school to university just that little bit easier. I'm going to split the video into two sections. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the more academic side of things, and then I'm going to talk about the more personal, social side of things. So let's get started with the academics. It's definitely a big jump from A-levels or B-Tech or IB, whatever you did before at sixth form or college. That doesn't mean it's something that you should be scared of, just something that you should be aware of. Personally, for me, for physics, I found it to be quite a step up in difficulty. This wasn't universal across my cohort. I had friends that didn't find it that much more difficult. But just having that awareness that there might be a bit of a step up would have really helped me when I was moving from sixth form to university. The style of teaching at university is quite different to sixth form or college. It varies from subject to subject. For me personally, we have lectures, tutorials and labs, and I have quite a lot of contact hours compared to some of my friends that maybe have more hours that they're meant to be spending on doing reading or doing different assignments. Examinations is also something that's quite different. So here at Bath we do semester 1 exams and semester 2 exams. You might have some modules that are purely examined on coursework, you might have some that are purely exams. I've got friends that maybe only do like 1 or 2 exams a semester. I usually end up doing 1 for each module. So it really depends on what subject you're doing, and also if you can pick your modules, it depends on which ones you take. So if you know you're better at exams, you might want to pick one that's got more exams, and vice versa with things like coursework. Since the style of teaching and the style of exams does change quite a bit, it makes sense that the style in which you're sort of learning it is going to change as well. For me, at A-level, I used to just take loads of notes, but I find that at university, that's not really that useful. I focus now on sort of doing like problem sheets, past papers, and making sure that I understand the content as we go. You can't really cram for university exams, you kind of need to properly understand it just through the nature of the examinations. I'd really recommend like knowing who to go to ask questions if you don't understand something. Always go to your lecturer's office hours, you can talk to your tutor or you can talk to your other friends on the course. I find that really useful. It's often good just to sort of talk it through with someone and you're likely to help them as much as they're helping you. Another thing that I found daunting about moving to university is I genuinely just didn't know what to do in lectures. If I was to give you a tip, it would be don't spend the whole time trying to write everything down. You're not really going to learn from that. Try and focus on listening to what your lecturer is saying and thinking if you've got any questions throughout. With the questions, they might ask halfway through if anyone's got any questions, or if you're not comfortable with that, you can always go up to them after the lecture. If you're not free then, you can go to their office hours, or you can ask your tutor. Another big change academically is you're not going to have a teacher there to tell you what to do all the time. You've got to be self-disciplined and make sure that you get your assignments and coursework in on time. I think that was quite a big learning curve for me, just because I was so used to teachers being there like, why haven't you handed in the homework? If I don't want to do something at university that isn't something that needs to be handed in, I don't have to do it. That doesn't mean I shouldn't do it, but it's good in the sense you get a lot more flexibility and you can focus on the things that you know are really going to help your learning. I also found that not having that meant that I stopped doing things that were quite important, especially when I started university. Make sure you're holding yourself accountable with things like that and you're doing the work that you need to be doing. If you are struggling with that, there are so many people that you can talk to and ask for help. You could set up a study group with some friends on your course to make sure you're all getting the problem sheets done. You could talk to your tutor and be like, oh, can we go through the problem sheets every week in the tutorial, so you've sort of got an internal deadline there. I could literally talk for hours about all the different changes that go on when you move to university academically. But quite a lot of them, I think you'll learn for yourself and you'll find out what works for you. So as long as you're making sure that you're doing okay and you're not falling super behind, just spending enough time making new friends and having new experiences, then you'll be absolutely fine. It's really important to remember that you wouldn't be here if people didn't think you could do it. You know, the university have faith in you that you can do the course. You just need to have that belief in yourself that you can do it, and you just need to try your best, because that's like really all you can do. So moving on to the more social side of things, again, it's a big jump, it's a change, it's gonna be different, it's gonna be scary, but my biggest like piece of advice is everyone's in the same boat, everyone's scared. No matter if you sort of pick up on it or not, everyone's nervous. My biggest piece of advice is just put yourself out there. It doesn't have to be you're going up and talking to everyone to make friends, but if your flatmates are in the kitchen, just go into the kitchen and say hi. And I remember when I moved in on the first day, like of Freshers Week, I was sitting in my room and I was like, I can't go and talk to them. Like I had this block in my head, I was like, I can't do this. But literally, like, as soon as I stepped out of my room, it was fine. So just getting over that first obstacle and going and saying hi. Remember, you can always go back to your room. You don't have to go out with them. You're not committing to anything. But taking that first step and introducing yourself will make everything so much easier for you. Another thing that I really struggled with was balancing academics with like having a social life. Not necessarily because I was going out all the time, that wasn't the issue. It was more like, instead of just having work to do, you have work to do, but you've also got to do like your washing, and you've got to cook for yourself, and then you've got to do washing up, and you've got to keep your room clean, and then you've got to make sure you've got a food shop coming every week. And all these little things that don't really seem that much build up. And I was so overwhelmed with those things that I forgot I was a university student, and I forgot like I was meant to be doing a degree. Another thing I wish I was more prepared for socially is it's okay to say no to going out. Like, no one's gonna hate you for it. You're not gonna be like out of the friendship group. You don't have to go out to every single event. And I think it's quite difficult to do it when you first meet people because you don't want to miss out on something. But if you've got to stay in and do work, or if you just need to get an early night, that's okay. Otherwise, you'll just be going out all the time and meeting all these new people, which is great, don't get me wrong. Like, it's so much fun, and going to all these different societies like taster events and sports and stuff. But you've got to make sure that you have that time to look after yourself as well. I think those are my main sort of overall tips. It's one of those topics where you literally couldn't cover everything, no matter how long you were talking about it for. And it's also so different for every person. This is just my experience of what I've gained from it. You could talk to someone else and they might give you a completely different set of advice. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to feel like you don't know what you're doing, because I guarantee you, literally everyone feels like that. The amount of conversations that I've had with my friends sort of 5 or 6 months after we started university, asking them if they knew what was going on at the beginning of first semester, and pretty much no one had any idea. And I just feel like if one of us had just said, guys, I don't get this, it would have been so much easier. Everyone's sort of so scared of what other people are thinking, and they don't want to be the odd one out, and they don't want to feel like they're the only one struggling. It's so difficult to have those conversations. But honestly, to round it all off, just have fun. And I am so jealous of you, because I literally wish I could relive everything again, because it was amazing.